Well, we are lucky once again to be in the kitchen with what we commonly love, the pie lady. So recently she shared with us 2 amazing recipes. We did the pumpkin pie recipe, we did the pecan bar recipe, but now she's sharing with us the most, in my opinion, important secret, which is the pie crust, because that's the foundation that really makes a pie, regardless of whatever kind of pie you're making.
That is true. This is basically, when I make pie crust, I make as much as will fit in my food processor, and it's really easy to freeze, and I'll make a huge batch of it because I make a lot of pie. So this is, remember, 4 single pie discs worth.
Okay.
So I'm gonna throw in a pile of flour. We've got sugar and a little salt. And then you just wanna pulse that real quick in your food processor to make sure that it's all blended together. So basically there's 1 cube of butter per pie disc. So it's definitely got a lot of fat in there. And I go ahead and get it mixed in with the flour because you really just want to break it up a little bit.
And is it important that you cube it the way you did too? So then does it help it blend evenly?
Yes, you need kind of like 3/4 to 1 inch size cubes to make it incorporate the easiest. So my magic number on this is 13 pulses.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go.
13's done. And if you want to stick your nose in here, you can see then that the chunks of butter are about pea size.
Yeah.
Maybe some are a little bit bigger, and that's okay because you're going to keep mixing and they'll break down even a little bit more.
Okay.
You certainly don't want to turn it any smaller than peas.
Oh, right. So you don't need it to make it like all grainy. You still want to get a couple of chunks in there.
Yes.
Okay.
I dump the dry mix into a mixing bowl. This part's really easy once you get the butter cut in. To get the really good crispy bubbles like you had in the butter crust on the pumpkin pie, you need a little bit of acid in the crust. It helps form the gluten and then makes the bubbles pop a little bit more when it's baking.
I appreciate the science lesson. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Excellent.
This one, I use a little bit of sour cream and then ice cold water.
And why ice cold?
Again, if the butter starts to melt or break down at all, you lose all of the effort you put into keeping it crispy. So
Got it.
Ice cold again helps, from my understanding, the gluten develops. So that's about 2/3 a cup of water to the sour cream. And then when you just kind of make a well and you pour it in, you want to start with less water because once you add too much, you can't go back.
There's no going back?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And if you add too much, it gets gummy and will ruin the consistency of it.
Okay.
So you just want enough water. And at this point, depending on how wet it is, and it depends on the temperature and just how humid it is outside, how much water you're gonna need.
Okay.
So we're just gonna keep adding a little bit at a time
Okay.
until the dough just comes together, and then you can pull the rest of it together with your hands in the bowl. Okay, so at this point, I just start bringing it together with my hands in the bowl. It prevents a big mess on the counter. There is some saran wrap behind you.
Oh.
And you need to let pie dough rest for at least an hour in the fridge before you can roll it out. So I split it into about 4 different discs, and then you just kind of plop it in there and wrap it up, and then we stick it in the fridge.